Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to talk about peach leaf curl because it's something I'm dealing with in my garden with my Pixie miniature peach right here. And peach leaf curl is a fungal issue usually found in stone fruits like peaches and nectarines. I noticed it the first time this spring when we were doing a little tour of this area the other day. We're kind of in front of the chicken coop here. And when I was showing you my peach, I noticed the signs of peach leaf curl, and then I mentioned we may be doing a video. So that's what I want to do today, is just talk about what signs to look for and how you can combat the problem in the future. So if you take a look at these leaves right here, classic leaf curl symptoms. Curly leaves, they usually start to change color like reds and rusts. They may even burn, and you'll see raised sections like this. It's a pretty ugly looking thing, and it's really more of an ugly issue than it is something to freak out about because it's very easy to combat once you see that you have it. Just a few things to know about it. So it spreads in the spring. The fungus overwinters in the bark of the plant, and when the buds start to swell in the spring, that's when your window opens for it to start to spread. And if you are dealing with a cool, wet spring like we have had this year, so it's a little atypical for our area, the disease or the fungus will start spreading, and if it's cooler and it takes a lot longer for those leaves to open, that window of opportunity for it to spread just elongates and it gets longer, and then you deal with issues like this. So what this tree will do is it will try to push off all those affected leaves, and it will try to grow new ones, which takes an enormous amount of energy. So the only thing we can do right now for it, there's not a lot, there's no spraying we can do right now, but we can make sure to fertilize it. I'm going to do that today. You want to make sure it's got some good food on board so that when it starts to push those new leaves, it's got plenty of energy to do that. You want to keep them well hydrated, and when they start to set fruit, if they do, you want to thin it fairly aggressively, and you may even see some signs of the leaf curl like transfer onto the fruit. You might see like a little bit of a warty looking skin, and it's nothing to worry about. It's just kind of a little symptom from the leaf curl. You don't always see it, but it's kind of like a person with a cold. With those type of people, when you have a cold, you want to make sure that you're feeding yourself with really healthy things, that you're staying well hydrated, and that you're not overtaxing your body like running marathons. And that's exactly what we're going to do for the tree. So we'll make sure, I mean, it's on drip system, so I know it will be consistently watered. There won't be any issue there. We're going to give it some good food right now, and then by thinning the fruit, you're allowing it to rest a little bit this year. So it is an issue that will cause a drop in your yield for the year. Now with the tree tone, I'm going to be fertilizing a little bit differently in terms of application than I would if it was in the ground, because you treat things a little bit differently. When you fertilize in the ground, the fertilizer sticks around for a little longer because it usually doesn't have as much moisture pushing nutrients away or leaching them out as you do when you have them in a container, because you have to water containers a whole lot more to keep them hydrated. They dry out a lot faster. And for trees in the ground, there's a little chart here telling you how much to give them based on the diameter of their trunk. But in the case of a container and the size of this plant, I'm going to give them about a cup. And I don't really measure. I'm just going to do a few handfuls around the perimeter like this of the container, wherever I can get the soil. And then I scratch it in, and then I will water it in later today. And because I'm fertilizing in a container and it won't last quite as long, I'll make sure to give a follow-up application of fertilizer, probably late summer, just to give the tree another little boost. And then as far as preventative spraying, you'll want to do that in the late fall when all the leaves have fallen from the tree and it's just branches. And this is what you use. So you want to use a liquid copper fungicide right here. This is your fungicide. It doesn't kill insects or anything like that. It just deals with fungal issues. And then I like to use it coupled with a horticultural spray oil because it helps everything adhere to the branches a little bit better. And in this case, because my plant is so small, I can use these little ready-to-use spray bottles. They're really handy to have, and then I don't have to mix anything up. But in the case of most fruit trees, you're dealing with semi-dwarf fruit trees that grow 15 to 20 feet tall. So there's a couple of different methods of application. You can use a pump sprayer like this if you don't have enormous trees, and a concentrate. So I've got a concentrate of both of the things we just showed you. You use 2.5 ounces of this horticultural oil and 2 ounces of the copper fungicide in your pump sprayer. This is what I use to measure with, and these are so handy to have. They've got measurements in either ounces or milliliters, cc's right here, and this allows me to not mess up. Or gives me no opportunity to cross-contaminate and mess up, because if you have just one thing that you're measuring everything out with, it'd be really hard, or really easy rather, to accidentally, use a fungicide where you've just put an insecticide or something else that you don't want to actually spray on your tree. So I would measure up 2.5 ounces of the oil, 2 of the copper, put it in my pump sprayer, and then fill up to the 1 gallon mark right here. And for those of you who haven't used a pump sprayer before, you fill up with your water and your whatever you're spraying with, put the lid on, and then pump it like this. And you'll have to pump it several times, and that builds up pressure inside the tank so that you can then spray right here. Whoops. But if you have big trees, this would be a huge pain to have to spray everything. You'd have to probably drag a ladder all over the place to reach everything. And that's where the hose end sprayer comes in really handy. So this one can spray up to 30 feet depending on your water pressure. It's really nice to have. I mean, it sprays well beyond how tall or how big a fruit tree usually gets. And the way this works is you hook this end up to a hose right here. It's just a standard 3/4 inch thread right there. You put your product in the hopper. So in this case, I just kind of mix out half and half and put it in here. And then you set your dial. This is how you want the mix ratio to come out, the spray end. So I've got it set to 2 ounces right there. And what will happen is you turn the sprayer on, the water's coming through here, it draws up the amount of product it needs and sprays it out the front like that. So it makes it really easy to spray bigger scale items. So the first spray, like I said, is late fall after all the leaves have fallen off, and then you'll want to do a follow-up spray when the buds start to swell in the spring. So 2 applications. Some people will do a 3rd application in between those 2 spray applications. Usually like in January on a really nice day they'll spray, and that's typically how I like to do it, especially if I know I'm dealing with an issue. So we will be coming in later with a video showing you, once the leaves have fallen off this tree, how I actually spray. I'm such a visual learner, and I hate just like showing you these things and not actually doing like the act of spraying, because that helps me so much to learn what to do. So anyway, I do hope this video was helpful. I know there's just been a huge push for edible productions in terms of fruits and vegetables, and some of you might be seeing some of these things crop up in your garden, and if you've never dealt with it before, you know, it's good to know what to do going forward so that it doesn't become a bigger issue. So anyway, hope this video was helpful, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.